95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. The time is 12:34 here on Community Comment today. I am your host, Kevin Haugen. It is my pleasure to welcome into the studio today Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson with the Beaver Dam Police Department. Lieutenant, thank you so much for coming in today.
Good. How you doing? Good afternoon.
I am doing well.
Fantastic.
I can't complain.
It's good. It's cooling off out there. Yeah. I will say that. It seems like school started and somebody flipped the switch and summer just went away for a little bit. I'm sure we'll get some summer back as time goes on here. But
it was an Indian summer that springs up here.
Always gets us, yeah.
Sometime in September, October, warms up, and then we're in for the long haul with winter.
Yeah, and another weird thing, too, is where's the rain? You know,
I feel like this whole summer has been
correct
rain after rain after rain after rain, and last couple of weeks, I mean, we got plenty of it, so it's been good to have a little bit of a break.
Correct. We need to just take it and spread it out, though, and, so we can handle it a little bit better. Let things drain out, and it's a good time of year. Kids are back at school. Football starting here. Your first game of the year yesterday. Packers play tonight. That's right. So, in Brazil, of all places, too,
Brazil,
is my understanding.
Yep. So it's exciting time here in Beaver Dam community, and we have a shorter show today. Want to note that just in case anybody out there wants to call into our show today. The number is 887-9595, or you can text 885-4446, and we'll get to your question today. But we're wrapping up around 1 o'clock today instead of our normal 1:30. Just want to give that note. And I also want to note, in case something happens to go completely wrong and I got a call for Ninja to come out and help me, I'm running the entire video stream here on Daily Dodge TV, which we are also broadcasting on.
This is all true, ladies and gentlemen. He's got a bunch of buttons. I don't know what they do. So
if you're watching the stream, I don't know if you can see it, but that's it there. That pretty much powers everything that's happening that people can watch on our stream. So it's the first time running this here solo without anybody else doing it.
Yeah,
so.
I am not a co-pilot here, so I'm in your mercy.
I couldn't ask for a better guest to do this for the first time with. So this is perfect. But
good.
Again, we are with Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson here on Community Comment today. Again, the number 887-9595 if you want to call into the program. But first thing we want to get to on our show is important fundraiser event.
Oh,
here.
yeah, absolutely.
Coming up here not too far away. Supports an important unit with the Beaver Dam Police Department. What's that event?
So that is our Canine Brat Fry. And Officer Bublitz, he was on our show here, God, was it 2 months ago? I believe it was 2 months ago. He has since then completed canine training with Canine Murph. They are out on the road. They are out there ready to do all the fun stuff that canines do. And with that, they traditionally do like a brat fry every year. And this is coming up this Saturday, tomorrow, at the Piggly Wiggly between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. And you can come down and you can meet both of our canine officers and both of our canines. So we have Officer Schneider with Boomer, and we have Officer Bublitz with Murph. And Murph, like I said, is brand new, just very curious dog, very well behaved, very cool to see. And I think citizens, when they come and meet these dogs, they're going to see the size difference. And Boomer lives up to his name. He's gigantic. He looks like a black bear running around on a leash. I mean, he is a big boy, big German Shepherd, all black in color, long, shaggy black hair, and he's got a great personality, which matches also Officer Schneider's great personality as well, too. The dogs take on their handler's personality. They really do. And Murph just being so young and energetic, and it's just a night and day difference. And he's a little bit smaller, a little bit more spry than Boomer is. And I'm looking forward to working with both the canines here, but especially with Murph, because he'll be on our shift, on second shift, where the shift that I manage. So we are looking forward to that.
That's great.
Yes, absolutely. But if you're looking for some brats and you want to meet the canines and you want to meet the officers and other officers as well will be stopping by out there, feel free to. Between 10 and 2, all the proceeds go towards supporting the dog program. So that can be veterinary assistance, that can be food, that can be equipment. We are very blessed to have as much taxpayer input and money as we have in the city of Beaver Dam, but sometimes we just need a little bit more to make the program a little bit more successful. Yeah. And we appreciate that. So that's why we do these fundraisers. we get involved with things like Wisconsin Vesta Dog, and that offers ballistic protection for the dogs. And they custom make a vest for them, so if there's a tactical situation, the dog actually has a little bit protection versus just fur, if you will. And hopefully we never need that, but that kind of stuff, you never know. And when we have programs like that help out, that diverts the cost from something else in the canine program and opens it up so we can expand out and expand our horizons. So it's relatively expensive to have a dog on your police department. We're very fortunate enough to have 2 of them, 2 squad cars, custom made, with the back seat is a kennel, with monitoring software and hardware to make sure that the dog has a comfortable temperature inside the vehicle, an alert system if it ever drops below a certain temperature or above a certain temperature. Like I mentioned, the veterinary, the food, even a dog house and a kennel at the canine officer's home, because the dog has to stay somewhere and goes home with the officer every night. It's not like it stays at the PD and takes a nap. It comes home. It's a family dog as well. So we appreciate all the very generous stuff that the community has done for us, and that's one of those things.
And where's the Brock Fry again?
It's going to be at Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly Wiggly here, Fox Brothers.
Yep.
Piggly Wiggly here in Beaver Dam. 10 a.m. is start time again?
Yep, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Come out and get brats and burgers and all kinds of other good stuff.
Fantastic. Now, the K9 unit here for the Beaver Dam Police Department, I feel like having 2 canines for a department here is not very common, or even just having a canine unit for agency throughout this area, throughout the state. Like you mentioned, it's tough to fund and be able to have the supplies and training necessary to be able to keep these units in operation. And I think that just speaks to the support that the community has shown the canine unit over the years with supporting and donating to that unit, but just how important it is that you guys recognize having canine units and the benefits that they provide a police department, and having canines available throughout the shifts to support and help you guys throughout your day.
Absolutely. So the canine serves multiple jobs through the department, and it is rare for an agency our size with 33 sworn officers and the population of Beaver Dam. We're very fortunate to have 2 canines. It wouldn't be unusual for us to have 1, but 2 is an added benefit, and we do appreciate it. So we have coverage now, essentially doubling it throughout the week as we go. The canine provides all sorts of things. Number one, I think it's another tool in our box to when we have dangerous situations. We could have uncooperative individuals that we now have another tool to safely apprehend them. Obviously, a canine, has teeth, it bites, and those are unfortunate things. But a canine bite is better than the use of a weapon, if I were to give an example. So that's one of the things that we see in apprehension. The canine also is quick. It can run. It can jump over certain things that humans can't, and allows us to, when we have situations where someone is fleeing on foot, we can apprehend those individuals a lot easier with the use of a canine as well. So in addition to that, we have on not necessarily the law enforcement side of things, but the first responder side of things, the capability of tracking. So both of our canines are capable of finding objects, contraband, and actual individuals, and finding things that may have been lost, or people that have gone into areas that are a little bit more rural. We can use the canine to support those search and rescue efforts as well. Just recently, Officer Bubitz and I were talking about the use of the drone in combination with the canine. It's one of those things that's just absolutely technology, and something I guess you could say a little bit more old school. Man's best friend for thousands of years, working in concert together. This is one of those great advantages that we have. So we have a nice clear view of the sky and the ground below. We have a thermal camera on that drone, and if we see or spot something, we can direct the canine and other officers to those areas, and vice versa. So, that canine has a nose that can pick up all sorts of things. The canine, when it tracks, is smart enough to notice disturbances in the ground and the scent that lies low, even in the blades of grass and even over the top of water if someone were to go through a swamp. Canine can pick up on all that stuff, and just by its very nature, through the years and years of canine evolving, uses that to its advantage and can track and find things and people that may have gone missing.
No, I think that's a great point you bring up. The dichotomy between a drone and a canine. You think like, well, if you have a drone, what else do you need a canine for? It does almost everything else that you can imagine, but there's a lot of, like you had mentioned, just the subtleties of what they're looking for, what they're training to do. I mean, it's not as advanced as an actual officer being able to
Sure.
examine a crime scene and be able to figure out, but they're able to process things and notice something through their training that they go through, these processes that they go through, to be able to pick up on things and direct officers to track better, to find substances in vehicles. And there's a lot of benefits that really come from having a canine unit.
Right, absolutely, and we use that to our advantage as much as possible. It's great to know that if we need a canine, we can pick up the phone and we can call one, or just if they're on duty, we'll just call them on the radio. The other thing that they do as well is drug interdiction. Canines are trained in the detection of certain substances, methamphetamines, cocaine, opiates, things like that, kind of the bigger drugs, and they're able to essentially detect these things inside vehicles. So if we have a situation where someone is trafficking drugs through the city of Beaver Dam, or if someone is in possession of those items inside that vehicle, the canine can tell us if they're in there just by how they're trained. And the scent of that, whatever substance it is, leaks out the seams of the car doors. The canines can pick up on it, where the human senses just are not as developed as the canines. So we train them as part of their natural instinct to hunt and to search. We train them on those scents, and we reward them when they find those scents in their training. So out in the field, they do the same thing. They look for it, and they're looking for the reward, and they find those scents. And I may not be putting it as eloquently as a canine trained officer would, but that's in general, that's how it works. We kind of use the dog's natural abilities to our advantage and his advantage, and we're able to kind of take that hunting instinct and adapt it to a new type of thing.
Right.
So,
now, when a new canine comes on board, like you guys just had with Officer Bublitz and the canine Murph, they go through a training process. The canine has to get acclimated to its handler, and there's a process that goes through that. Obviously, it's just not the handler that works with the canine; it's everybody else in the department. Is there a window or a time frame that the canine has to get acclimated to other people in the department, getting used to working them alongside a scene with them? How long does that process take?
Absolutely. So I don't know how long the process takes, but I think as time goes on, it obviously does acclimate, but there is a change in there. So the first month, the canine, our kennel that we use gets the canines from overseas. They come in, they learn how to be a dog. They're at that kennel, and then there's a month, even 5 weeks of training with the canine handler, where they get to know the procedures and the training, and they get to know that handler. So right now, Murph knows Officer Bublitz very, very well, knows his home. Now he's learning what it's like to be inside the car, what it's like to be on duty, to come inside to the office and know the police department. And I mean, as a perfect example, Boomer, when it's time to go, he knows. He gets up, and Boomer will actually run to the door, push on the door handle, and then run into the squad car and sit down and ready to go. Wow. So, I mean, that's how well Boomer's acclimated to how we do things at the Beaver Dam Police Department. Murph is learning that himself right now. So I don't know when it switches over where, you could say the canine's got it, but it's learning right now. Murph is learning. So
it's a onboarding process. For a new person coming into the department, it's the same thing for a canine who's just starting out. They have to learn the ins and outs of the department.
It's kind of like a field training process, if you will, for the canine.
Fantastic. Lieutenant, what's the times and dates, locations that our listeners and viewers need to know if they want to head out and support the Canine Brat Fry tomorrow?
Absolutely. So Canine Brat Fry tomorrow between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. at the Beaver Dam Piggly Wiggly. That's in the 800 block of Park Avenue. Can't miss it. We'll be out there. We'll have red and blue lights.
You'll
find us, hopefully, yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so come on out and have some brats and burgers, soda, chips, all kinds of good stuff, and meet our officers and our canines too.
Okay, to our listening or watching Community Comment here today on 95.3 WBEV. Our guest is Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson with the Beaver Dam Police Department. The phone number, if you want to get in and ask a question, is 887-9595 on the program today. And Lieutenant, we also want to highlight, I believe he had mentioned before he came on air today, some changes in hiring process and things to note that we just want, is it essentially for people who are applying or interested in getting into law enforcement want to know?
Absolutely. I kind of wanted to hit it. So we're hiring at the Beaver Dam Police Department. We have one opening right now. We have another officer who's in the academy and learning and going to be going into field training coming up here in the end of the year, middle of December. He'll be done and graduated with the academy, but we still have that one open position. So I kind of wanted to hit on, if you know someone who's important, or I'm sorry, if you know somebody who's interested, in law enforcement, if they're important in law enforcement too, tell them to apply, we'll take them. Anyways, don't know why I said that. If you know someone who in your life that's interested in it or currently works for another department, we take lateral transfers, or if they're just getting done with high school and they're trying to figure out where they want to go and what they want to do, what their career path is, have them apply. The reason why I say that is things have changed a little bit, and maybe some people have the misconception of everyone has to go to the police academy. That's true, you do, but you don't have to go to the police academy before you get hired anymore. That's kind of what I wanted to hit on, is that all the changes that we've seen in how we hire officers, and that's not just the Beaver Dam Police Department, but law enforcement in the United States is in general, it's completely changed. And I guess I'll go back and kind of talk about, there's officers that have 10 or more years experience than me. Let's say the late 1990s, the early 2000s, they were getting hired and they were going into multiple steps of a hiring process because being in law enforcement at that time was such a high demand job. Everybody wanted to do it, and there weren't enough spots to meet that demand. So they were walking into the first step of a process, let's say a written test, and there would be 200 other people in the room that had applied and met the qualifications to become a police officer. So that meant they put themselves through the police academy, they have 60 college credits, and they're now ready to get hired. And you're going in trying to fill one spot, and there's 200 people that are competing with you. Think about that for a minute. It's
competitive.
It's crazy.
Very competitive.
Right. And officers at that time would not just apply to one department that they wanted, they would apply all over with the hopes of getting hired at some point. And obviously, there's more steps beyond it. So there's usually a written test. There's some form of a physical agility test. Some of the physical agility tests involve a Cooper fitness model, where you have to do so many push-ups and sit-ups, run the 1.5 mile run, a sprint, all sorts of things like that. Or kind of what the Beaver Dam Police Department does, we do basic fitness testing and an obstacle course on top of that. Obstacle course including a couple laps where you have to jump over a certain height, jump over a horizontal distance as well as a vertical distance, running around cones and underneath being able to climb and pull yourself up, push a squad car, remove a dummy out of a squad car and 150 pounds and be able to get that a certain distance. That's the kind of the physical agility that we used to do. It has now, as time has gone on, it has gone away because we don't want to eliminate someone for that kind of stuff. There's also interviews, the traditional job interview that everybody has to go through to get hired at their job at some point.
Can't escape that no matter where you go.
Exactly. So there's that, and there's multiple of those. There's a panel interview with the lieutenants. There's an assessment center with the sergeants, and ultimately a chief interview. And you have to go through all three of those steps, answering those questions, and they got to be right, And when you're up against 200 people, little things, those little errors that will affect you later on down the road. So. That's how it was about 20 years ago. About 10 years ago, it dropped down to maybe 100. I remember when I was trying to get hired, I remember walking into a Fond du Lac police department written test. There were 100 people in the room. And I'm just like, holy cow, and they have 2 positions open. I'm just like, what are the chances, And how do you move on? And that as each step proceeds in the hiring process, more and more people get eliminated and the further you go. So did you have a call or a text there?
We do have a caller.
Okay,
So,
all right, fantastic.
Want to
We'll put this on hold.
Yeah, we'll put it on hold. We'll put a pin in it. Come right back to it again. The number's 887-9595 to get on the program. Let's head to line 1 and welcome our caller onto Community Comment.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I am doing well, Tyler. How about yourself?
Sorry to hear about one of your colleagues.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, Tyler.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, that was been a tough couple of days here.
Actually, has towards Jeremiah Johnson, because it's what he does in the spring. I'm just curious. When you do the police academy, the citizenship police academy, do you take people out like to because I know I did it for Watertown. This was like 12 years ago. We went out to Conservation Club and did a test like arrest and all that, and got to see all the kinds of guns to shoot and all that. Do you guys do that?
So we do have the Citizens Police Academy, absolutely. We run that through March through June. We usually take about 12 citizens. Priority is given to people who either live, work, or own property in the city of Beaver Dam. However, if for some reason I can't fill those spots with people that meet those requirements, I will pull from outside. So if you live in the area and you're around Beaver Dam and you're interested in participating in a Citizens Police Academy, apply regardless of what your status is on those three things. Definitely apply. There's a good chance that if you can't get in this year, you can get in next year. I always save the applications and make sure that if they're good applications, we can get you in.
But like I said, do you take out for like a pretend arrest and like to a gun range or something?
Absolutely, yeah. So the pretend arrest, if you will, we do scenarios. It's called DAT. It's Defensive and Arrest Tactics, and we do a whole class on that. So we talk about everything from arrest procedures, how to apply handcuffs, to the use of tasers, use of force, decentralizations, and we demonstrate those things for you. But I mean, you're part of the scenarios as well, where you get to come up and do a mock arrest, and nobody gets hurt or anything like that. We keep it safe, but I mean, and you also get to see kind of a little bit behind the scenes of how things work at a police department. We also will take you out to our new training center. You'll get to see where we learn defensive and arrest tactics. We have pads and kind of like a workout room, if you will, where we can move the walls and run different scenarios. And also that's the location of our range, where you have a pistol and rifle range, and you'll get to, if you so choose, you can participate in test firing some of our duty weapons that we have. And you can actually kind of learn a little bit of the weapon technology and the rules of use of force and the legality behind it and how it's evolved over the years, and learn all about that. Everything from a beanbag shotgun to the pistols that we carry.
I was just curious, like I said, I was in the Watertown one 12 years ago, and we got to go out to the Conservation Club and do all that. Mm-hmm. So I was just curious if Beaver Dam did that.
Absolutely, we do. And if you would like to apply, you can go to the city's website, and the Citizens Police Academy application is on there under the police department. You can click on that link, and I need to verify that because we did switch over to a new website recently. I just want to make sure it's still on there. It should be. If not, you can always stop by the Beaver Dam Police Department and pick one up. We have them available. You can email me. I'll be at jjohnson@bdpd.org. So that's JJOHNSON at BDPD, as in Beaver Dam Police Department.org. And I'll gladly send you an application. And if you'd like, please pass it out to your friends and family as well, because we'll take as many applications as we can get. We appreciate it.
Okay, I just thought I'd ask, and thank you for your service as always.
Absolutely. Thank you for the support.
Yep.
All right. Thank you for the phone call, Tyler. Again, you're listening to Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson here on Community Comment. And, I mean, we're only a couple minutes left here until the end of the program.
It's going quick. It really is.
Flown by, and I want to make sure that we hit on all the changes and things we wanted to know with the hiring process before we let you go. I know you mentioned that the biggest thing is that you don't have to go to the cadet program beforehand anymore, but is there anything else you want to know?
Long story short is, back in the day, people had to go to the police academy, and they put themselves through the police academy. Since I've been hired, in the process of 10 years, that has switched right around, where before you couldn't even get an interview if you didn't go to the police academy. Now, all we are getting are people who have not been to the police academy. And one of the advantages of that for the job seekers is that if we feel that you're the right candidate and you have enough college credits, which is 60 college credits, we will take you and we will put you through the academy. We will pay you as a police officer to go to the academy, and we pay the tuition, the state does, for the police academy itself. So you can get hired and get paid to learn, get those credits in for the police academy, and become an officer through the field training process. And at the end, you know what I mean? It's quite the advantage to the job seekers.
Yeah, that's awesome. And if people wanted to learn more or find out like contacts or information there, they can head to that Beaver Dam City website.
Correct.
And the Beaver Dam Police Department tab and go there.
Absolutely. So yes, you can go there, or the other option is you go to WileyNet and you fill out what is called a DJE 330, I believe, and that's the standard law enforcement application for the state of Wisconsin. You have that application plus a resume, you're good to go. And we take a look at them and we call you and we set up an interview, which we are looking to hire right now, and we are looking to set up interviews. So like I said, if you have people in your family, if you're interested yourself, please do not hesitate to fill out an application. And if you've got any questions, you can contact any of the lieutenants or sergeants at the Beaver Dam Police Department, and we'll gladly answer any questions that you have. And we can even set up a ride-along if you're that interested. So
Fantastic.
We're actively seeking.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about more about the academy in future co-coms when that application, I believe it's March, spring-ish time.
Oh, for the Citizens Police
For the
Academy?
Citizens Police Academy.
I'll probably have the big push at around January 15th.
Yep.
I'll do the press release, and then we probably will have the applications due back in the middle of February.
Fantastic. So I'm sure we'll talk more about that later down the road here.
Absolutely, you bet.
Fantastic. Well, on that note, I want to thank our guest here today, Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson with the Beaver Dam Police Department. Thank you so much, sir, for coming in today.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
And that will do it for today's Community Comment.